Good afternoon, Colonel Country, and welcome to another episode of Colonel's Corner. On today's episode, we'll be recapping the Wilkes University football team's 23-0 family weekend victory over Alvernia and look ahead to this weekend's homecoming day matchup with Stevenson. Our guest, as always, head coach Jon Drach. Coach, thanks for joining us.
No, thanks for having me.
Now, Coach, we've played 3 games so far this year, and after each game, we've had at least one player recognized by the conference as a player of the week. Can you talk about the significance of getting recognition from those organizations outside of our own, stratosphere?
Yeah, I mean, it's always great to see our kids get recognition. I think they are very deserving of that recognition. We've had guys that have been elite performers basically every week. And I think more than in the past, we've been recognized for it. I think that our guys have stepped up and made a lot of big plays. And I think it's more of a credit to them and the hard work that they've put in. And when you do those things, people notice. And I think they're starting to get noticed a little bit. And I think that's going to lead for good things for them as we move forward into all conference and everything else as well.
Now, after watching the film of Saturday's game, can you give us your impression of it? What was good? Maybe some things that we need to work on, but just what you saw after reviewing Saturday's game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think one of the main points of emphasis that you and I talked about last week was eliminating some of those penalties. I think we had 2 penalties for 10 yards this week or 15 yards. So that was a huge improvement over where we were at Misericordia. So that was a big point of interest for myself. I think that special teams and defense played excellent. Obviously, the shutout's fantastic. And the special teams adding a score into that was a big aspect of the game and really changed the momentum in the second half. I think that offensively, we turned the ball over a little bit too much. And we have some things to clean up on just technique of switching the ball in our hands and whatnot when we're running with the football. Those things can get cleaned up as we move into next week versus Stevenson.
Now, you touched on special teams a little bit, and let's talk about that a little more in depth. Obviously, special teams, a facet of the game that kind of gets overlooked in the shuffle with offense and defense. But we saw its importance this Saturday as Nate Whitaker took the opening kickoff of the second half back for the touchdown to kind of put that drive into our team. And then also punter Alex Orlando averaging 42 yards a punt. He's down 4 inside the 20. And Justin Pollock being perfect on field goal attempts and 11 of 14 on PATs. Can you talk a little bit more about their significance and how they've really impacted games early on so far this year?
Yeah, we take a lot of time on special teams. Like throughout the course of the week, we're practicing special teams a significant amount. And so third of the game, and we take that as an aspect where we can have an advantage. Alex Orlando coming in as a freshman and averaging 42 yards per punt right now has been fantastic. Those are hidden yards. That's field position. He's been booming kicks and, sometimes we haven't had successful offensive drives. So I feel very confident putting him on the field and knowing that when he punts the ball, the opposing team is going to have a long way to go in order to be able to get a touchdown or a field goal themselves. And then as you look at Justin Pollock and then our kickoff return team and everything else, everybody's doing a great job of impacting the game where they can. They're doing their portion. I think that's one thing we talk about a lot through our entire team, offense, defense, special team, is when you have an opportunity to make a play, when you have an opportunity to be on the field, that's when you're highlighted. And I'm excited to, kind of continue that as we move forward against a very good team this week. I think that's an area of the game. If we can win that third of the football game, we are much, much closer to winning the overall game itself.
Now let's talk about this game this week. We have Stevenson coming in, a team that finished second in the conference the last time that we actually had games. But they're entering Schmidt Stadium this weekend with an unfamiliar 0-4 record. But that can also be deceptive based on the level of competition that they've faced so far this year. What have you seen on the game film about the Mustangs, and what do we need to do to come out with a victory?
They're a talented football team. Don't let that 0-4 record fool you. They've played 3 top 25 teams, and I believe 2 teams inside the top 10 or 12. So they are an excellent football team. They have fantastic speed on the defensive side of the ball. Their front 3 are one of the best front 3 in the conference as far as seniors, guys that have played a lot of football, guys that play really, really well together. They can dent gaps and they can make plays in the backfield. And then in their secondary and their linebacker units are both excellent as well. On the offensive side of the ball, they have a returning starting quarterback who I believe was first team or second team all league last year. He's doing a great job of distributing the football, and they've got all types of weapons on the edge with Joppy in the backfield. And then those weapons on the edge, they're very, very dynamic on the offensive side of the ball. And we're going to have our hands full keeping those guys contained. On the special team side of things, I think we can find an advantage with some of those things. I think that as a whole, our special teams units have been performing slightly better on the percentages. At the same time, we're going to have to win every facet of the game to be able to put this one away this weekend. It's a good football team.
Wilkes University football team continues MAC play with a Week 5 contest, homecoming against Stevenson University from Schmidt Stadium. Kickoff scheduled for 12 p.m. Coach, thanks for joining us. Good luck this week.
Thanks, Adam.